Good morning. So I want to give you all a perspective of what I'm talking about when I say that you're going to have to make some sacrifices, because I know that it is some people that have watched me or watch me that called and told me that they went to somebody else, which I don't understand that. If I told you who you can go to, and they told me that the person that they went to had them to cut their hair. I've never had to cut my hair. I've never had to cut my hair. The only time I cut my hair some is when I started going natural and I had to cut off the processed ends. Miss Williams has never asked me to cut my hair. I've never had to sacrifice any animals or anything like that. As a matter of fact, you may not even ever have to do that. It's kind of sketchy to me. So be careful with that. If somebody's asking you to give blood, like, what do they need your blood for? Like weird stuff like that. You shouldn't have to cut your hair or anything. But what I'm talking about is money, okay? You may have to sacrifice a bit of your finances whenever you do get some money. And you may have to sacrifice other things, like most of the stuff that you don't want to sacrifice, you don't want to give up. That's a sacrifice. That's mostly a sacrifice. That's what a sacrifice is. Probably something that you don't really want to do. But I've never had to do anything out of anything crazy. Money is a sacrifice, and it's also a seed. So it makes the work that Miss Williams is doing even more powerful whenever you decide to. It's a seed and it's a sacrifice, because people mostly don't want to pay it. I mean, I've had my times like that where I was just like, I don't really want to do it today, because I probably had something else I was planning on doing, but I made the sacrifice anyway, and I always got something awesome out of it, and I've never regretted it. I've never regretted doing it. So I don't even know why I kept doing that, but especially me seeing the fruits of that, of the sacrifice that I made. That's the only sacrifice, is me having to pay and to just do the work of the Lord, and just do certain stuff I wasn't comfortable with, as far as, you know, godly works. Not me sacrificing, like cutting my hair or something. I don't know. The money is the sacrifice, mostly because there are a lot of people who don't want to pay it. They don't even want to pay the money. And me, I got to the point, I said, I don't care how much it is, I'm going to go ahead and pay this. And with it being that big of a sacrifice, like I said, it make it even more powerful. Because truth be told, we can't stop demons from being demons no more than we can stop a lion from being a lion. Demons going to be demons, and they're going to do what they do. And once you start and get that stuff done, then you'll see other things open up for you, blockages moved, all that type of stuff. You'll see your life start to improve, and the things that are going on in your body are going to dissipate, and you're going to see, you probably going, I don't know if you're going to be like me or not, but the lens that was over my eyes when I was going through all of that stuff started to clear up, and I was able to see again. While I was in my situation, I looked at everything in steps. I said that, okay, if I can just find who can help me, then I'll come up with the money some kind of way. I knew I could come up with the money some kind of way, and I knew I had to hurry up and get the stuff done, because I knew the patterns. See, you have to study the patterns of the enemy. And even if you're not under any kind of spell or witchcraft or anything, you have to study the patterns of the enemy, because that will help save your life as well. Once you see certain stuff manifesting and it looks very familiar than the last time, then you already know that this could be the outcome. But those things, like I said, they're going to try to block you from doing anything. So just finding anybody can be difficult. And once I did, I knew that, okay, once I found her, I knew that, okay, we finna get something done. Something is going to get done. So I was happy about finding her, but I didn't know the road that was ahead of me at all. Once I did find her, I didn't know that those things will come back, and they will harass you and stalk you like demons stalk. Like the devil will stalk you. He will stalk you and harass you, and just so that you can get rebound, and he can come back in and discourage you and make you feel like you will never get out of that. It's a lot of people that don't even believe they can come out of witchcraft because of how it's going. They see all of this stuff happening to them, and they see that every time they try to do this and try to do that, and everything just fails and everything just falls apart every time they try. And it's like it messes with the person's mind. They feel like they can never get out. And that's one thing that God wants people to know, like, you can get out, but a lot of people that's under this stuff, they don't know that. One of the mistakes that I made going in this, when I first met Miss Williams, was I went in feeling like, okay, I'm just going to have to do this one time. But at the same time, I did ask her, how long am I going to have to do this? And she said, however long it takes. And I'm like, oh my goodness. I had no idea, though, that it's a wonderful thing to do. I didn't know anything about spirituality. So don't go in thinking that that's the only time you're going to have to do that for the rest of your life, because the enemy is going to try to get you back in there. And a lot of times he succeeds, and you may have to do it again. And especially if you are in sin, it can cause a setback, and you may have to do it again. This is a real fight for your soul, a real fight for your soul. So expect the unexpected when it comes down to freedom, because the enemy and whatever else was in you around the time is going to try to track you down and get back in again. Demonic spirits, they like professional hitmen that are specialized in taking out people. They specialize in taking people out any way that they can. And the thing is, they work together. They work with each other to achieve this thing. And they work together better than most people do. And that's a shame. They work better than most Christians do with one another. You see how they set people up? They set people up all the time for damage. And they know how to, they got to the point where they know how to set people up to destroy themselves, and can use your own flesh against you. They know how to do things like that. I call them slow because they are, and they have a reprobate mind, but at the same time, highly intelligent. They are professionals at what they do. So you think a professional hitman that was assigned to take you out isn't going to try again? So don't go in thinking that you are just in the clear for the rest of your life. You may end up having to go back again. And if that's what it takes for me to be free and for me to keep myself together, then I do not mind the sacrifice at all. I'd rather do that than to be back where I was in hell, because like I said, that's where it is. I would rather do that than be back where I was. And like I said, a lot of people be discouraged because they feel like they won't never get free. But have you made any sacrifices? And sometimes the sacrifice will have to be food, depending on how powerful it is. But if it's been going on for years, it's going to take something more powerful than you just fasting. Fasting is a great tool, and it is powerful, but it's going to take more than that. You have to give more and more and more, you know, not cutting your hair or anything like that, but just giving more, putting more time in with God. Like I said, fasting is great. If you look at the benefits of that, it ain't just about spirituality. You just saved some food. Like, you have food that you have saved up because you're not eating. So that's another great thing when it comes down to fasting. The sacrifice is money, time, food, anything that you can sacrifice to get yourself together spiritually. And like I said, spiritual health is more important than anything. Because if you are messed up spiritually, everything else will be messed up too. Like your mind, your body, everything will be messed up. You probably go through way more spiritual, well, you will go through way more spiritual attacks if your spirit ain't right. You know, it's going to be different than being attacked when your spirit is upright. And it's going to actually be a little easier. To me, it is, because I noticed the difference between being attacked while on the witchcraft and being attacked while I'm not under witchcraft. And it's a difference. It's a huge difference. Just like last year, in December, I had to make another sacrifice because I felt this coming, though. I felt it, and I kind of seen a little bit in the spirit. And Miss Williams, she confirmed it to me. But remember when I told you guys that I held my tongue because somebody was basically trying to get me to react? It was going to be somebody that was going to get me to try to fight them. And I felt that energy going on, and they was going to try to get me arrested again. So you best believe I'm going to sacrifice them few dollars to ensure that that don't happen to me again, because my life is at peace and I love peace. I love being in peace. And how do you go, like I said before, how do you go to jail being in your house, Lord? But that was what was going to happen last year. I was going to get attacked again in that kind of way. And I don't have time for that. I got children. So, yes, I'm going to do what I have to do to ensure that I'm safe, that my children are safe. And I got her to get things done in that area, and I'm fine. And I came to the new year fine, except for all of that energy that I was feeling for the new year, which they say that the real new year is April. That's what they say. I'm going to have to look more into that because it makes sense a little bit, but still, you know. The sacrifice, it is well worth it. You get your mind back. You get your heart back right. You get everything back that the enemy stole from you. The elements in your body, the pains in your body stop. You no longer feel depressed. You're at peace. You gain a relationship with God. You grow in a relationship with God. That's priceless. You can't even put a dollar amount on none of that. You can't put a dollar amount on absolute love and peace and everything and good health and things like that. It is well worth it. So I highly recommend. And that is the sacrifice. That's the sacrifice that you're going to have to make if you really truly want it. And you have to, like I said, you got to show God that you really want it. Because truth be told, there's nothing just going to drop in your lap like that. You know, if it has happened to you and stuff just dropped in your lap, that's not common. So, but it didn't drop in his lap for me. I had to put in work and show God I really wanted to be with him and work and to be free. But I hope this helped you guys. I love you all. Take care. Have a great day. Bye.